talk to them about a time they've been mad, sad or bad. Because I've sort of been accused of being all those things loads of times in my life, and I'm a bit like, really? Aren't we all? So it's quite a nice kind of opening conversation starter with people. And it's been so brilliant. Like, it's gone way better than I thought it would, because I've had so many laughs, I've had tears, I've had people being really generous with themselves and saying things that they've not really said publicly before. And I think, like, as you know, I come on this show and I'm just like ready to tell anyone everything. Aww. And at one point as well, like, I was filming with Mel B and I even left her in my house because I had to go somewhere, and I was like, I'm late, just shut the door behind you. And she's just sort of left her there. So it's quite a kind of like warm feeling, and everyone's invited, and everyone who comes over, they're like, can I have a look round? And I'm like, yeah, just walk around, whatever.
I love that. So you've got great guests. You mentioned Mel B, you've got Alan Carr, and talking about subjects that are personal to them, but also to you. You know, you talk about your ADHD diagnosis and life as a single mum.
Yeah, we've covered so much.
Does that help, though, if you're kind of opening up? It helps them open up?
I think so, and it's also like it feels safe because everyone's saying stuff to kind of normalise our natural feelings, and I think sometimes we sort of feel isolated in our experiences, and this has been really kind of brilliant. And also, like, there is hilariousness. Like, you have people like Alan and I together, and we're just like the naughty kids in the class. And it's just completely raucous.
Yeah.
And it's quite fun as well, because people, sometimes, because it's my house, people drop in. So I've got like my mum in it, and then friends come in. Someone's kids come in at one point. Like, there's a bit of everything. And I get them all involved, and people ask questions. So it's quite nice.
The doorbell goes a lot, yeah.
There's a lot going on.
And it's not deliveries.
Paloma, Barry's been on, and he's asked, what do you hope listeners take away from your podcast?
I think what I really hope is that we all realise that all of our negative, positive and all the in-between thoughts are a collective experience, and even though we might feel different to each other in some way, there are kind of like universal, connective human experiences that are, you know, that we all share. Yeah. And so, yeah, like dealing with big things. We talk about grief, we've talked about IVF, we've talked about male, you know, emotional repression. We've talked, like, there's so much, politics. We've had differing opinions at times, and I love that. I actually get more excited when people don't agree with what I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, this is actually in some ways like the route to solve bigger problems of the world, as if we could all just converse, you know, reasonably, then it would be a bit more sane than some of the global stuff that we view at the moment.
Yeah. Now, Paloma, we know that obviously you are a musician, first and foremost, and Clace, you make music too, under the name This Is Not America. So that's a David Bowie song.
Yeah.
Presumably you're a huge fan.
Yeah, I am, but that's not why I'm called that. I'm called that because at that point I wanted to get it on radio in Denmark, and they wouldn't play actors that thought they
were musicians.
No. So I had to come up with an alias to trick them.
Ah.
And I've always been a massive fan of his, and perhaps that track was on or something, and I thought, oh, I'll just call myself that.
It's good enough for David Bowie, good enough for you.
But I am a massive Bowie fan. I totally am. But the reason why my little musical project is called that is actually because of me trying to trick those...
to get round the radio stations.
Yes,
you didn't want to play Slashies.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So, yeah.
Oh, well done you for doing that. Paloma, you're a huge Bowie fan too.
Yeah.
It was just his anniversary on Friday, I think, 9 years ago. And you called him the last true great pop star. What did he mean to you?
I feel like he was, because it's something about that experience when you're growing up, like watching someone who can reinvent themselves so many times, and that they're so unpredictable. Whereas now I feel like there's this culture of like, let's play it safe. You know, this album did good, let's put out a replica album. And it happens all the time in music where you're like excited, and then you're like, oh, they did the same thing again. Ooh. Yeah. And I really love that thing of reinvention. Like when I was young, obviously Bowie was a bit before, but I loved Madonna, and I love all those people who a whole new look, express new things, new subject matter, concept albums, all of that. And he did it all a million times.
Yeah, he does. Well, speaking of icons, we think you're going to like this piece of news. Ellie here is in a new film all about Kate Moss, playing Kate Moss. Oh my goodness, we are so excited. This is all about a specific moment, though, in her life, isn't it? What can you tell us, Ellie?
Yeah, it's about her and Lucian Freud. So she sat for Lucian Freud in 2001, 2002. So it's about that time period. So, yeah.
And is it right that Kate Moss was the one that was like, yes, Ellie is the girl to play me?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I've been really lucky to like spend some time with her, like after being cast and like kind of getting to know her and crafting, you know, the role in the film. So yeah.
That's a huge compliment, isn't it? My goodness.
Oh, very cool.
And we were just saying we can see why it's you.
I mean,
it's
yes,
perfect.
Cannot wait to watch that. It's going to be brilliant. You can listen to Paloma's podcast, Mad, Sad and Bad, from the 20th of January on all available platforms.